Hey, Danny Boyle here, founder of Songwriters International. Now, do you struggle with your verses and your choruses being different, contrasting one another? So when you listen back to the song that you have written, it feels like your verse and your chorus are identical. It's not going to captivate the listeners in the way that you want. Your verses are not telling stories. Your chorus is not hooky. Instead, they're the same, and like we've said, the listener is going to turn off. Now, I've been there. I've done it. I've written songs which are identical, and I'm left listening to them thinking, how do I change them? What do I do? And I found a two-step process to doing this stuff. Very, very easy, and that's what I'm going to break down in this video. How to contrast those two key elements of your song so that number one, it tells a story, and number two, you have a hooky part of your song. So let's break this down. Now, every single song will have at least a verse. Okay, if it has nothing else, it will always have a verse. So a verse is a crucial element of the songwriting structure, and it's a part we are always going to use. Now, the verse has one key thing, or one key element that it is designed to do, and that is to tell a story. It's to bring the listener into our song when they click play and start to tell them a little bit more about the track. Who is in the song? The storyline. Is it a love song, a heartbreak, maybe about you moving away or something else? But in that verse, we've got to start opening up the book and breaking that down. Now, here's the big mistake a lot of songwriters make, is they don't focus on the story, but they focus on the melody. They have a melody that is moving melodically all over the place, so much that it's putting the listener off, and they cannot hear clearly what the storyline is because they're being thrown off by a melody that is melodically all over the place. So what we want to do in our verses 9 times out of 10 is we want to keep the melody fairly static. Now, what we are using is a static melody, a melody that is not going to move very much. If you have a pen and a piece of paper, go to that paper and draw a straight line. Literally just a straight line. That is the melody we are trying to create in a verse, because it's not going to move very much and it's going to focus on the story, on telling the listener what's actually happening. So let me give you an example of this. Now, it doesn't matter what chords you're using. I'm just going to put some simple chords together. You can use whatever chords you want, or even if you don't sing, you can still do this. Now, I'm going to focus on a static melody. Listen to how I am singing this. It's going to be a melody that is not moving very much, and it's going to focus the emphasis on the lyrics if I was to sing lyrics for this part of the song. I've been thinking about everything you want. Tell me that you're da-da. And everything I want. Tell me what you want. 'Cause I've been thinking da-da. Hopefully you can see from that example, the melody is fairly rhythmic, but it's not actually moving too much. The emphasis is on the lyrics, what it is I would be saying, and the focus is not on creating a melody that is moving all over the place, because what that will do is throw the listener off, and they will more than likely turn off and go on to the next song. So now that we have a verse melody, the best tip I can give you is to create a contrast that is the complete opposite to what we have just created. If you go in with that mindset that you are trying to create a chorus melody or a verse melody completely different to the other section of the song, I guarantee you will at least create something that is variant, that is different. Whether you like it is a different question, but you will create something that is different. So let me show an example of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the static melody in the verse, and I'm going to do what we call a disjunct melody. The best way to imagine this is, again, to go to your piece of paper with your pen and to draw spikes up and down, up and down. Now you can already imagine that contrast from a straight line to now spiking up and down. Let me show you this in format of a song. So let me give you an example of this from a verse to a chorus and how we can create that contrast. I've been thinking about everything you want. Tell me that you know. 'Cause I've been feeling love, you got me feeling so right. 'Cause every day you got me feeling right, but daylight. Give me me how you love it, babe. Break a heart there, got me feeling ba-ba-da. Got me da-da-da-da-da, got me feeling like ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. And every time that I walk on by, Now you can see the contrast of how I went from a verse melody which was static into a chorus melody which had spikes and that was melodically moving back in to that static melody. So that is a great way to how we can create two different sections of our song that are melodically different, that captivate listeners. And one area, which is our verse, it focuses on a melody that is not moving very much. So it's putting all the emphasis on the story. And then a chorus is designed for hooks. It's about focusing on a melody that is moving melodically, that's going to get stuck in your listener's head. And the emphasis is less on the lyric. These are the two steps that I focus on every time I write a song. That a verse is static. It's building up to the climax. It's building up to the big part of our song, which is the chorus. It's supposed to be melodically not moving very much, and the chorus is designed to be the opposite of the verse. But the other way to look at this is that if you had a verse which was melodically moving all over the place, then the chorus would be the complete opposite, and it would be a static melody. And I want to give you one more example of this. I'm going to again use a static melody in the verse, and we're then going to contrast it with a melody that is now going to move all over the place. Tell me that you've been feeling okay. We're still in the verse. Tell me that you really need me. Now a chorus. And hey, give me your love, and now I feel everything, you know. I've been feeling like this. And hey, give me all your love, and now I feel like I'm loving down. Very simple. So I've given you two examples to where I have used that two-step process of creating a verse that is different to our chorus and vice versa. Very, very easy to follow. Once you understand this, your songs will literally transform. Your verse will be simple. It will tell the story, captivate our listeners through that storytelling element of our songwriting. And then we'll have a chorus, which is the climax that takes our listener right up to the peak of the mountain and then brings them right back to another storytelling verse. So go ahead, use these tips, use them in your writing. Very, very easy, and I can guarantee it will transform your songwriting.